Welcome to the 60th Timberwolf Induction Ceremony. My name is Andrea and I will be your mistress of ceremonies for today's presentation. Please stand and join Ture and Tiana in leading us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We would now like to recognize all of our current pledges and Timberwolves. Will the following students please stand and remain standing as I call all of the names. We ask that everyone please hold their applause until the students' names have been called. Pledges: Tian W., Andrea H., J. Leon J., Dylan H., Jacob P., Tisha H., Vance, William Jr., Xander C., Sebastian T., Aiden B., Zachary O., Xavier S., and Gage A. Again, we ask that everyone please hold their applause until all the Timberwolf names have been called. Jamia W., Tiana PG, Desiree H, Aubriana T, Ture, Ray M, Aubrey M, Andrea T, Ratu A, Mark D, James B, Andrew G, Bo L, Joey L, Thomas W, Carson M, Nick R, and Dakota C. We would now like to draw your attention to the screen for a video that features past and present Timberwolves in various settings.
Just What does it mean to you to become a Timberwolf?
Okay, what does it mean to me to become a Timberwolf? Okay, so it means responsibility to me, and like, just, yeah, responsibility. Like, to be responsible for yourself, and like, responsible for how you react around others. And it means maturity to me, because like, as a Timberwolf, staff places a lot of like trust within you, so like, it means that I'm trustworthy and responsible and mature enough to like have this privilege.
It means to show how far I've gotten and to be a leader that people can look up to.
Oh, that's great.
Being a Timberwolf is a really hard thing to do because you have all your peers pressuring you to do things, and getting a Timberwolf makes you feel like you rose above those challenges. Your peers are pushing you, and it just means a lot to you having your Timberwolf, because you feel like you've accomplished something, and it feels good to accomplish your goals that you have set.
For me, to become a Timberwolf means being more responsible of the safety of the school.
It means that it means a lot of honor to me and respect.
What it means is, like, it means a lot to me to be a Timberwolf, because I can help others I can help others become Timberwolves, make sure they stay positive in our environment.
To become a leader, to change others for the best for this society and world, and to prove to self and others that I will be a great leader.
Okay, so definitely respect and to be positive at all times, because like sometimes when you're like here, there's a lot of people who've been through a lot and then you like have like negative looks on life. So it's like really important to me to like just come in like with a smile and be positive, show positivity to everyone, and like safety. Yeah, for safety.
One of my five most important is probably safety, so no one gets injured or hurt.
I like the norm of respect because it's like the golden rule. You respect me, I'll respect you, and respect means a lot to people because it means if you respect someone, then you have their trust and everything else that goes along with it. And when you respect yourself, it means you have a lot of confidence.
Responsibility, because without responsibility, there would be like basically everyone would do whatever they wanted to do.
What would happen then? What would happen then?
Well, if that happened, then everyone would just be chaotic.
They'd be like, "Ah!"
Yeah, basically.
I would say maybe respect. Because it means treating somebody with lots of honor, not by doing fighting.
That's great.
You know what I find most important is safety, because everyone should be safe in our environment. So that way our environment's safe, so that way nobody's hurting each other or hurting themselves. So that way they can make sure they stay positive, but also stay safe in our environment.
Respect, because I believe that if you respect yourself and others, you'll be safe and you'll be accountable for each other and helping each other out for the best.
Nice.
We would now like to welcome Dr. Paula to the podium to read some words of encouragement. This honor is being represented.
Good morning, everyone. And that was pretty funny to hear some of you saying, "I know her." This is a really proud day because we have a lot of people here who have been working really hard and who have achieved their goals. We have other people in the audience here who are really still working on their goals, and I feel so confident that they're going to be the next ones for our next ceremony. And you know who I'm talking about when I'm looking over your way. So I expect to see some new faces next time. But when I look at our new Timberwolves today, I'm just so proud because they've done a lot of things and they've really decided what they wanted to do, and they wanted to be leaders in our school. And they're people that I call on when I need a hand during the day. So thank you, all of you. The next thing I want to talk to you real quickly about is discovering your greatness. How many people, raise your hand if you've heard me say that before? You have to find your greatness. You have to discover your greatness. What the heck does that mean? It means you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're good at. We've had some kids, and I'm looking over at one of them right now, who've helped out in the elementary, and they have a lot of strong potential to help out in the elementary school. Who would have thought? It would be like a person that you wouldn't think would do so well there, but that person discovered his greatness. There are other people who like to sing, who like to dance, who like to do hair, who like to give facials. Those are very important things because it's really not the most important who gets the highest score on a test. It's how do you do when you get out in the real world. And that's what we try to focus on when we work with our Timberwolves. So that's all I really want to say to you is just keep knowing yourself and discover your greatness and then really go for it. Find out what you like to do and go for it. Okay? Thank you.
We will now have the calling of the Timberwolves. Each inductee and their speaker, please come to the stage as I call your name. Andrew. Speaking for Andrew is Dr. Polly. Aubrey. Speaking for Aubrey is Miss Chase. Jamia. Speaking for Jamia is Miss Braymiller. Carson. Speaking for Carson is Mr. Klepp. Nick. Speaking for Nick is Mr. Sayak. And Ratu. Speaking for Ratu is Mr. Macheski.
We on? We live? All right. Hello, and thank you all for coming today. It's my extreme pleasure to stand up and speak for Ratu today. Ratu has been my student for several months now, and from day one, she has stood out as a positive leader with kindness and wisdom beyond her years. Ever since she entered the door, she's been committed to the norms. Being goal-directed, honest, and driven is just who she is. But one of the norms that sticks out to me when describing Ratu is responsibility. Even the other day, I started harping on her because she wasn't in dress code, okay? And she said, "No, mister, I have on my tacky pants." And I said to Ratu, "They may not be khaki pants, but they look great. Those pants aren't tacky," okay? And she continued to argue with me that they are tacky. And I told her, no, they are not tacky, they're khaki, and they look great. But Ratu has also become the Timberwolf secretary and always steps up to help students and her peers. Ratu has a multitude of strengths. She knows 5 languages, is an amazing artist and writer. She loves watching anime and reading manga. She is extremely creative with all of her projects, but I think overall her biggest strength is kindness. Commander Pike of the USS Enterprise, that's nerd talk for Star Trek, once said, "Goodness, after all, is not a character trait. It is something you are. It is something you do. It's a choice, and it's one that must be made repeatedly. That's what makes it hard. Red 2 takes that hard road and is kind to her peers every day, even when they are difficult. Anytime a friend is in need, she is always there to help support them. Her kindness is known throughout the school. My father always said that life is much like a book, each part of life being divided into chapters of successes and hardships. One thing I know is as we turn this page on Red 2 wrote this successful chapter with determination and a strong personality. I'm honored to be here for her, and I know whatever life throws at her, she will overcome and succeed. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Mr. Syak, and I'm a counselor at Randolph Academy. And I'd like to congratulate all of the Timberwolf inductees that are on the stage being recognized this morning. Congratulations. I've known Nick for 2 years, and we hit it off right away. We found out we had a couple things in common. We both like to sneak walks into our workday quite frequently. We both like nature, and we both get antsy if we sit in the classroom too long. So it's worked out well for us. We spent a lot of time walking and talking, and we were out the other day. If you ever walk with Nick, you know he doesn't take a leisurely stroll. He walks with a purpose. And most of the time he's kind of up ahead of me, and I'm tagging along, sweating bullets, right? And we were wondering how many miles we must have walked together in the halls in the circle. So we got out my app and we counted up our steps, and we calculated we've probably covered 15, 20 miles at this point, walking and getting to know each other. So I'd like to share a little bit about what I've learned about Nick. Nick tries to be a good friend, and he enjoys entertaining and making people laugh. He's an avid reader and always has a book under his arm. His favorite book is The Outsiders, and his favorite author is S.E. He enjoys country music and playing his guitar. Nick has a very creative mind and is an imaginative storyteller. He expresses himself through his written work and sharing stories in ELA very well. He enjoys working with his hands and has experience working in his family's landscaping business and thinks he may someday like to be a landscaper. He also enjoys tinkering with his mountain bike and his old dirt bike, and he's interested in training in automotive mechanics. Nick's long-term goal is to attend a trade school or college after graduating from Randolph. The norm that Nick exemplifies is being goal-directed. Nick has the goal of becoming a Timberwolf for 2.5 years, and the path to becoming a Timberwolf was not a straight line, and it wasn't easy for Nick. Each of you have faced challenges and had to cope with challenges during the Timberwolf process. There were times when Nick fell short of his daily goals, and throughout the Timberwolf process, he kept plugging through, often taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but that's progress, and that's how goals are sometimes. And when Nick faced a setback, he was able to focus on his goals, adjust his attitude and behaviors, and align them with those of the Timberwolf. Nick, today we recognize your efforts, your positive attitude, your persistency, and your determination to work through challenges and achieve your goals of becoming a Timberwolf. And we look forward to you becoming a positive leader in our school community. Congratulations, Nick.
Hello, my name is Mr. Klepp. I had the special education teacher for the middle school team, and this year I'm working as the middle school English teacher. I had the pleasure of meeting Carson about March of this past year, so he was in our second half of the year, but he really made a big impact at our school. I was able to see him on multiple subjects because I pushed him across classes. Now, at first I couldn't get a good read on Carson because he's a very quiet kid, and you never know what to expect when you have a really quiet kid like that, but it was a real pleasure to teach him. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how well he adapted to our program and see how much he exemplified our norms. Of course, we have goal-directed, responsibility, respect, classroom is sacred, and safety. Now, if I had to pick one for Carson, I would say respect. And I think all the teachers would agree with that. I really can't recall even a single time, as we do our trackers and we do our positive and negative write-ups, that Carson had a single negative write-up at all or a negative on his tracker at all. I had to double check online, he had 35 positive write-ups since he got here, and that's an average of 2 a week, so it's pretty impressive, I think. So teachers reported that Carson was respectful, helpful, and polite. He was always willing to help out in class. He supports his peers. When they get off track, he's a positive leader, and he's got a great sense of humor. What I mean by that, he's always laughs at my terrible jokes in class when everybody else groans. So I appreciate that, Carson. I did want to share one story about him, though. We discovered that Carson only likes to eat chicken nuggets, nothing else at all. So we've been trying to help him expand his food palate, so to speak. And from my understanding, he was offered a veggie chicken patty. Now, I wasn't there for this. I was told about the story, that he kind of looked at it, looked around, smelled it, and not for him. So we're going to keep working on that with Carson. Carson recently started at Fredonia. His football season, he's a D lineman. And it's been a real pleasure having him in class, and I think I got to speak for every teacher in saying that. He does have a goal of eventually going back to Fredonia, and I think everyone would miss him, even though, we hope that he reaches that goal. And he's been a great addition to the Timberwolf program in our school community. And whatever you decide to do after high school, Carson, I know you're going to be doing great. Congratulations on making it to the Timberwolf program.
Hi, I'm Ms. Bragler. I'm a residential social worker, and I've known Jamia for 3 short months. And she's a Timberwolf. So she came early June, and here we are in September, and I'm speaking for her. I was not the first pick, but that's okay. I say third time is a charm, because I am honored to be here. When I first met Jamia for the very first time, when she was in my office, I heard everything she didn't like. And I was like, uh-oh, we're gonna have some problems. She doesn't like nice people, and she doesn't like the dirt or the outside. I'm like, okay, we're in the country. She's a New York City girl, so this has been a culture shock. But she has embraced this program, both residentially and with the school. And she loves going to the barn. So, talk about dirt. Jamia exemplifies the 4 norms. The one that stands out to me is goal-directed. She's like, Ms. Braymiller, I am getting my pledge, I'm getting my Timberwolf, I'm going into the apartment program, I'm graduating high school, and I'm going into college in somewhere warm, so down south, and I'm going to major in political science, and I'm going to recruit my friends to become Timberwolves as well. Well, she's got half that list already down, so she is very focused and goal-oriented. She does exemplify safety, and she helps others stay out of safe issues, and she stays committed, like, okay, I'm going to take this one under my wing, and I'm going to help them. And this one is going to get their pledge, and I'm going to make sure that happens. And she will. So, she's very responsible. She actually took a position to work in the salad bar. And one funny story with that is, she's like, Miss, I have to work, so could we wrap up our session quickly so I can not be late? Well, she was a little late, but the cafeteria ladies understood. And so she's very determined, and she speaks her mind. And respect. She is always respectful. Sometimes she gets a little upset and may slip a little bit. For the most part, she is respectful, and I want to credit her mother for that as well, for teaching her, and who got in the car at 2 o'clock in the morning to be here today, because she didn't want to miss this moment in Jamia's life. And I'm also happy to be a part of that. So congratulations, honey, and to all of you.
I'm Mrs. Chase. I'm a nighttime youth counselor at Randolph. I've known Aubrey since she arrived at Randolph, but I've really gotten to know her in the last few months. I've seen her overcome a lot of struggles, learn to use resources, and now become a Timberwolf. Aubrey embraces all of our norms, but I feel respect and responsibility is where Aubrey truly shines. Aubrey's highly independent and takes on daily responsibilities. She works at the salad bar, she's active with the barn and Adventure Rec. She's always there whenever or wherever she's needed to be and willing to step up and do the extra. I feel Aubrey truly embraces the respect norm. She's polite to a fault. Please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, can be frequently heard from Aubrey. Her concern for others' well-being is always evident. How are you doing? Can I help? Are phrases that are heard whenever Aubrey notices someone struggling in their daily activities. I was asked to describe a talent or strength that is unique to Aubrey, and I have to say, Aubrey herself is unique. She has a style all her own, and I love that she's not afraid to show it. She's a beautiful, caring young lady with a heart of gold. She's willing to help others, even if it's just acknowledging him or her with a, how are you doing today? Aubrey isn't sure of her after high school goals. She has lots of interests. Her current goals are to finish her education and go home. She has a bright future in whatever she decides to do. Aubrey, this morning you thanked me for being here to speak for you. I want to thank you for asking me to speak. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and congratulations on making your Timberwolf.
I'll start by congratulating all of our Timberwolves. I'm proud of each and every one of you, and it's really interesting. Some of you just came to us just recently, and some of you have been here a while, but all of you decided what you wanted to do and you got it done. I'm very honored to be speaking today for Andrew, and when I first met Andrew, I noticed his eyes, because his eyes smile. So not only does his mouth smile, his eyes smile, and every time I look at him, he makes me feel like really cheerful, really happy. So when you walk by Andrew, take a look at him when he's smiling, like his whole face lights up. His teacher tells me that this smile can sometimes get him out of trouble. What do you think, Andrew? Is that true? He's very confident. When I sat down with Andrew to talk about some of the things that he likes and his interests, he told me, I can draw, and I can draw really well. My favorite color is dark pink. Now that's a secure boy. To tell me his favorite color is dark pink, I love dark pink too. I love it on men. I love when men wear dark pink shirts. He loves pizza. He's very persistent when he wants something. He doesn't give up. He hates to lose. He doesn't quit. These are all characteristics that are going to take him where he needs to go and where he wants to go in his life. These are leadership qualities. And he's very creative and very imaginative. What does he like to do? He likes drawing, he likes football. Now this might not make you popular. He likes Denver. He likes Peyton Manning. He likes to play soccer. He likes video games. He likes Pixel Gun 3D, Contest of Champions. And he's got 2 dogs, Duke and Lance. He's got a great sense of humor too. When he asked me to speak for him, I said, Andrew, I'm really honored. And he said, well, it's not your first time, is it? And I said, well, no, it's not. But Andrew has really grown since he's been in the program. I can remember when he first came to us, I walked into his room, and I don't know, Andrew, I think maybe you were a little shy or something in the beginning. And when I walked in, his body was kind of like, he was kind of curled down and he had his head down. And then he's kind of learned, like now he's confident. He knows that he's good at different things, and he's smiling. When I go into his classroom, it helps. He's got a great teacher too. But when I go into his classroom, he looks really happy and he looks like things are going really well. So the one thing that he told me he wants to do when he grows up, this surprised me, he wants to be a singer. So I'm going to practice with him after school sometime and see how good he is. I wore some shoes the other day that I bought by mistake. They have mirrors on the back of them. And I got a lot of ribbing about that, about being a dancer, because I had those like disco kind of shoes. So maybe Andrew can sing and I can dance. Anyway, Andrew's really got what it takes to be a leader and to get the things in his life that he wants. So congratulations, Andrew, and it's a pleasure to speak for you today.
Speakers, please be seated in the front row. Each Timberwolf will now be called to sign the banner and receive an award for their achievement. Please give each student a round of applause as they are called. Andrew.